I'm going to take a little moment to warm up myself, just to make sure my wrists are feeling fluid, my shoulders have had a bit of movement, and my legs are feeling all right, but I'm still just going to give them a little bit of a pedal over. If you've done your warm up, that's good. You can do a little bit more, or you can just hang 10. Again, it takes 1 minute to just activate the muscles and just to prepare them. It's like you're just letting them know. It's like, yeah, we're about to get going, and there's no shocks to the system. Right foot forward. I'm feeling quite sore actually in my body today. I've been doing a lot of training, and I train at the gym. I like to lift weights, and then I like to do yoga, and I do find it difficult to find the balance. But it's good to just check in with where you're at in your body and your mind. And if you are feeling a bit sore from what we've been doing, let's just take it slow. There's no need to go full power. So, as I said, there's some crossover between categories of stretches. And today we're going to start in child's pose. So this is the first pose that's going to stretch through the back body quite nicely. And it predominantly in the hamstrings is where you'll feel this. And then if you lengthen your arms up, and it's a bit more of an engaged child's pose, the erector muscles through your back. We've done child's pose, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Next up is a cat-cow, which we've also done. So the cow, it's not a deep back body stretch, but it does target into the upper hip and like on your back. You can just feel it as you dip the belly down and you push the backside up and back. And then particularly on this cat pose, the erector muscles get a nice stretch there. So moving on, downward dog, which we've also done. I won't take too much time on it, but it's a wonderful back body stretch. If you've got your hands cupped in and really engaged, shoulders are strong, you can feel a nice stretch through the erector muscles in the back, and then you can feel that continue over the backside, into the glutes, down your hamstrings. Your IT bands also might get a little bit of a stretch here, and down into your calves and the Achilles as well. Even the bottom of the feet will get a nice stretch into the toes. So downward facing dog, and remembering when we're here, push the hips up and back. So I'm going to exaggerate it, up and back. And that's rotating the pelvis in the right direction. Coming forward, so I've already shared this pose with you in a flow because it's really hard to do a sequence without including it. But it's a halfway lift. Really simple. Some people will halfway lift to here. If they're a yin, like if you're really flexible, you might have that in your hamstrings and calves to come quite low. I just ask you to try and have a relatively flat back for this. So halfway lift, I come up here because I feel that. That's a real nice stretch for me, down my glutes, hammies, and calves. And then fold. So there can be a passive fold, which is, as I said, ragdoll, like this, and then halfway lift to the front. So, but the forward fold can also be active. So you can still be pushing the hips back and up, and just even in halfway lift and then the fold, I feel a stretch the whole way. And even when I'm down here, I feel a stretch, and I'm just trying to keep my back as flat as possible. If we round, it's putting a lot of compression into the spine in a single spot, which can be in your lower spine here. So Try and maintain a flat back. And moving on from that, a variation of a forward fold big toe pose, wrapping your two fingers around your big toes, and you stand on top of your two fingers with your big toes. And so this intensifies a stretch, but I really do not pull yourself down. This is a recipe for disaster. It should just be, we should get the stretch through the lengthen, and I'm even a little bit too tight for this. So I just take it really easy. But however, by pushing the hips up and back, lengthen, and then fold. Never jack yourself down, like it's just asking for a slip disc, because you've got this compression in your back, and if you pull yourself down, it's just crunching your spinal joints. So be mindful of that. I'm facing the front here, so two fingers around the toes, the big toes. Lengthen by pushing the hips up and back, flat back, and then fold. So the arms can be engaged, and you can provide yourself with a little bit of tension through the arms into the shoulders, but never crank it. Like, just please don't do that. Setting yourself up for a sore lower back for sure. So from big toe pose, we're going to move to pyramid pose. And pyramid pose, it's kind of like if we go from a high lunge, we straighten the left foot out. We've got the back heel off the ground, all 10 toes engaged. And we want to, with a flat back, we're going to fold over that front left leg. Now, if I was to be passive and collapse, like what I've mentioned, I could do this and almost get my forehead to my shin. Sure, I feel a little bit of a stretch, like that's a given. However, I'm then compressing into the lower back, so it's not really that healthy for the spine. And if I come back up and I maintain this flat back, and in class I use 2 blocks. I sit blocks here. I'm going to presume that you don't have blocks at home, so I'm going to demonstrate another way. You can put your 2 hands onto your shin. Don't crunch into your knee, just either go above the shin or below. This leg's really super activated. And then the feeling that we want to achieve is predominantly in the glute maximus here. So this muscle, this big bad boy or girl on the other side. And we can achieve that by pushing firmly into our left leg, our front leg, and pulling the back left hip backwards. And even up here, I can push and I can get a stretch there. And then as I begin to lengthen forward, it intensifies that glute stretch, and I feel it through my hamstring and then into my calf as well. You shouldn't really be feeling there'll be sensations behind the knee. Like this will happen throughout a lot of yoga poses. There shouldn't be any intense jabs of pain. If it's aching after a class behind your knees, you've gone a bit too deep in some of the poses and your legs haven't been set in a strong foundation. You'll notice I've got a minor bend to my front leg. It's not fully straight, I'm not locking. Minor bend, and it allows me to keep that super strong, and so I don't need to engage the muscles in the back of the knee, and I'm not stretching them out. So it's like hyperextension, I can't, but you don't want to be straight. Try and always keep an integrated leg. So your leg's firm, it's a strong foundation. And then pulling back. So, and then there's plenty of variations on this one. It can go quite a few different ways. So, but we'll just start with the basic pyramid pose. So swapping over to the other leg to balance it out. High lunge, straightening the right leg, or the leg you've got at the front now. Integrate the leg so it's firm. Again, someone could sit here and it would not budge. So that's how strong I'm being in that front leg. And then using the hips and the pelvis to rotate forward and pushing the bum back and up, I'm firing on that big glute muscle. And I can come down to here, I can come to here, and the back leg's strong and engaged as well. It's like this tug of war. You're trying to split your mat between you with your two legs. And that should just give you a really light and like suspended feeling, like you're totally supported. So pyramid pose is a beauty, and it can go into, there's so many different variations, which in the advanced course, teaser, that I'll be sharing those. So when I get around to it, it's not coming very soon. Coming down to your mat, so Sphinx pose. If you slide down to your belly, and the cobra, we've got our hands here and we lift up, a wide-armed cobra, hands off the mat. And Sphinx, we bring our elbows in to where our hands would be. So it's a 90-degree angle from our shoulder, elbow to the wrist. And we start low. We engage the feet, pushing down into the ground, pelvis also into the ground. And this gives us a really strong foundation for our spine to naturally lengthen. And this is a beautiful stretch for the erector muscles in the spine. So you can give that a try and then take it easy, because it can be intense on the back for some people. And then it's a minor front body stretch as well, like what the cobra is. So where the cobra, it's a little bit more in the front body because we've got more space to push forward and up. So the Sphinx is more angled into the erector muscles of the back. And if the feet, you've got to have the feet engaged, pelvis engaged, and perhaps try that, just laying here in the Sphinx pose, and then do it without your legs switched on. So your legs are just soft and limp. And then come back down, push the feet into the ground like you're trying to kick through the earth. Same with the quads, pelvis, and then lift the head up. See if you notice a difference. How supported you can feel when the poses are done right and you're engaging exactly what needs to be engaged to create a healthy foundation to get the most out of a pose. Cool. So I reckon rolling onto the back, and we're going to do a supine twist. Now this is also can be a side body stretch, but it is a nice one for the erector muscles. So coming down, lifting your right knee up to your chest, giving a little bit of a hug. Your left hand, we've done this one in a flow already, so you should know it, but I'm now giving it its name. Left hand clasps the right knee and it comes over the body. And so this is a nice stretch for the lower back and also the kind of the medium range, the middle erector muscle. And it's a really beautiful release, this one. And then switching over onto the other side to just balance it out. The left knee or your other knee will come up to your chest, hug it in, right hand clasps the knee, and rolling over to the right side. So your knee goes across your body, your arm can come at a 90 degrees straight. If you've got it in you, your neck, your head can turn the opposite way from the knee as well. And I believe the last pose for this, I had another one written down, but I'm gonna save that for another time. So the final pose is Happy Baby, which we've also done. And aim to have the lower flat area of your back on the ground. So it might mean you're not grabbing your toes. Like if you see there, it's quite lifted. If I grab my ankles, my lower back is flat, my spine's supported, and I feel this is a nice stretch into my adductor magnus and then my hamstrings, and even a little bit into my calves just off the back of that. Like It's a really strong stretch, and it's really nice for opening up the hips. So, making your way up onto your seat. So, yeah, things to avoid: collapsing or being passive in these back body stretches. There's a time for it when you're wanting a bit more restorative, like in a forward fold and you just want a rag dog. That's great. So, and that serves a purpose. However, if we're aiming to stretch the back body, collapsing or being passive just takes out so much of the opportunity we have to target these muscles correctly. Ian Finn also, he says there shouldn't be, throughout any of these stretches and throughout yoga, there shouldn't be compression in the spine, like crunching, like compressing together. And it should feel, when you do these poses correctly, it should feel a bit more like decompression, like lengthening. And so, kind of like hanging from a chin-up bar. If you've ever hung from a chin-up bar and you just get this really nice, juicy stretch down your back, it's like it's a beautiful feeling. And if you haven't tried that, if you're at the gym next time, just grab onto the chin-up bar and just see how your spine and all of your muscles throughout your back and into your lower hip, the back side of your hip lengthen, and it's really great. That's it for this session. Let's link it all up and have some fun.